Welcome to Connect Church Online. We're glad you chose to join us today. In just a moment, we have a song for you to enjoy, and then I'll bring the first message in a brand new four-part series we're calling Freedom. We'll be together for between 10 and 15 minutes before we get started. Let me take just a moment to let you know how you can connect with us and keep up with the events at Connect Church here in Waco. I also want to let you know how you can give and support what we're doing if you'd like. Get your cell phone and text the words Connect Church to 94,000. That's the words Connect Church to 94,000. This will provide you with a link to both connect with us and to give if you'd like, or you can go to our website, connectwaco.com/give. Thank you so much for watching, for connecting with us, and supporting what we're doing here at Connect Church in Waco. I hope you enjoy this week's online celebration. We're starting a brand new series today. So if you're just now joining us, you're coming in at the beginning of the movie. And in this series, we're going to talk about one of the most precious things in life. But what is that most precious thing in life? It's nothing we can buy, but it's very expensive. It's something that when we have it, we can take it very much for granted. It's something that if we don't appreciate and cherish it, we can easily lose it. If we're asked about it, we say it's something that matters a great deal to us, but if we're really honest about it, we seldom think about what it really means. What is this highly prized and precious thing in life? It's freedom. We need to understand that there are different kinds of freedoms, and they're each special and important. Here are just a few. There's political freedom. This is the freedom that allows us to choose who our leaders are, what our laws should be. If you Google freedom, most of what you will see are political types of freedom. Freedom of speech, worship, from want, from fear. This is the freedom that allows me to say what I want about my personal, political, religious beliefs, whatever I want, freely. I've been in countries where I was told, be careful what you say because there are people from the government here listening. There's physical freedom. This is the freedom that allows us to come and go where we want, as we want, without hindrance or restriction. There's financial freedom. This freedom means you're free from debt and able to purchase what you need, not always what you want, but what you need when you need it. All these freedoms are good and important, but they can still leave us lacking and longing for more. For nearly 20 years, I had the privilege to produce a weekly Sunday morning radio broadcast that we called Praise Celebration. The program was 30 minutes long, and we were blessed to win an award. I learned a lot through doing this broadcast, but most of all, it introduced me to a world that I knew very little about, and that's prison. Because they began to write to us, we discovered there were hundreds of incarcerated people listening every week in the prison units around Gatesville, Marlin. Praise Celebration was able to go past the prison walls and cell doors and allow us to be a part of their lives. We set up a pen pal ministry with our church family, and we sent books and Bible study materials and partnered with others to take gifts into prison for Christmas and Mother's Day. At that same time, I began making visits into the prisons and began to see life from inside those gray concrete walls through their eyes. They told me about life inside prison and what they missed about life outside prison walls, what they call the free world. One of the biggest lessons I learned is that you don't have to be in prison to long for freedom. There are so many things that can hold people captive where they long for freedom. And I also discovered you can be incarcerated behind prison walls and still experience real freedom. Jesus has a lot to say about freedom, and we'll explore what he has to say over the next 4 weeks. Something that's very important for us to understand. Freedom isn't free. It costs someone something to get and something to keep. Let me say that again. Freedom isn't free. It costs someone something to get and something to keep. There's always someone or something that desires to put you into bondage. Whether it's political freedom or spiritual freedom, there was a price to pay, and someone had to pay it to get it. And whether it's political freedom or spiritual freedom, there's a price to pay, and someone has to pay to keep it. The Apostle Paul wrote something very important about freedom in a New Testament letter we know as Galatians. For freedom Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to the yoke of slavery. Jesus paid an extremely high price on the cross to set us free. Our response should be to accept that freedom and begin to learn to live in it. One of Jesus' closest followers, named John, wrote down something Jesus said about freedom. It's found in the New Testament letter we know by his name, John chapter 8, verse 36. It said, "So if the Son sets you free, you are truly free." Freedom is a person, and that person is Jesus. The doorway to much of our bondage in life comes from our thought life, from what we think is true. A psychologist once told me, everyone wants to talk about how they feel, but what we feel comes from the way we think. He's so right. Just because we think something's true doesn't make it true. Our perception becomes our reality. If we believe something to be true, we will respond accordingly, even if it's false. We can actually think our way into bondage by believing things about our life, ourselves, our situations, or others that are not true. I've known people who believed they were dumb and ugly because they were told that by people they loved and trusted, but it wasn't true. Because they believed it to be true, they lived like and expected people to treat them like they were dumb and ugly, until they came to believe it wasn't true, and then there was no stopping them. Jesus talked about this very thing, and John wrote it down too. It's in the same chapter. He said, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." When we follow Jesus, he will teach us truth. What is true? What is really true about life, about ourselves, about others, and about the situations we find ourselves in. When we think the truth, we know we will walk in freedom. And when we live the truth we know, we will live in freedom. You will never know true freedom in any other way until you first know spiritual freedom that comes from knowing and learning Jesus. You may be filled with questions about what's true and right. Pontius Pilate had the same question when he put Jesus on trial. Jesus told Pilate, I was born and came into the world to testify to the truth. All who love the truth recognize that what I say is true. What is truth? Pilate asked. Here Pilate had truth standing right in front of him. He was face to face with truth, and he missed him. Crucified him, and crucified truth. You'll be able to discover what's true when you begin to walk with the one who is truth. It's not an instant event, but a lifelong process of walking with Jesus, placing your faith in him, and learning his ways. As we said at the beginning, freedom isn't free. It costs someone something to get and something to keep. Jesus paid the price for our freedom on the cross. It's a gift, a free gift he offers us. We're to accept his gift of freedom, salvation, and peace. Then we learn to walk in and protect the freedom he gave us. Have you accepted his offer of freedom? Have you started learning and walking in his freedom? I pray you'll ask Jesus to do life with him today, to follow him, and start today.